Hey, what's up guys, TechTime here, and I am back again with a brand new video. So before I begin this video, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching this one. If you enjoy my content, you know what to do, leave a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and stay tuned for more content. So in today's video, I'm excited to say that I finally did the comparison between the LG Stylo 6 and the Galaxy A21. So yeah, this has been highly requested, so let's talk about it. So starting with the Galaxy A21, on the back you have a quad camera setup. So you have the following specs: a 16 megapixel standard lens at f1.8, an 8 megapixel ultra wide at f2.2, 2 megapixel macro sensor, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor, with your LED flash and a fingerprint sensor, of course. And the bottom you have your headphone jack, a microphone, USB-C, as well as your bottom facing speaker. And on the back of the phone, on the side of the phone, you have your power button, your volume up and down. And as you can see, the camera does protrude quite a bit, so this phone is not ideal to set on flat surfaces, which is fine. The back is also pretty much this glossy black material, and it's a fingerprint magnet, which is unfortunate, so that's what I really have an issue with glossy material. And on the front, you have your hole punch front-facing camera with your 6.5-inch display, and the display is 720 by 1600. And it's so a lot of people have complained that this is a sub 720p panel, and I saw a comment that says Samsung should have left that in 2012, which is kind of true. However, this is a quality IPS panel, and that's something I do have to give props for. Yeah, the resolution is low, which is kind of disappointing, but at the end of the day, this is a quality panel, and they chose aesthetic more than they did with resolution. And some people might like it, some people might hate it. Me personally, I don't have a problem with it. It's fine, and I'll talk about it when I compare them side by side. So now the Stylo 6. So the Stylo 6 has a triple camera setup instead of the quad camera setup that we see on the A21. So the following specs: a 13 megapixel wide angle lens, 5 megapixel 120 degrees ultra wide, and 5 megapixel depth sensor with your LED flash, and the fingerprint sensor is right below it. And also the back of the LG Stylo 6 is much nicer to me. It is still glossy material, but the color that it provides makes it a little bit of a less prone to fingerprints, so it's hard to notice them even if they are there. And also on the bottom of the phone you have your stylus, which is the biggest feature on the LG Stylo 6, your speaker, USB-C, a microphone, as well as the headphone jack. So both phones do retain the headphone jack, which is nice to see in 2021. So now the sides, right? So the right hand side does house your power button, and as you can see, the camera sits near perfect flush, so laying this phone on a flat surface will be great. So this is a flat camera for the most part, and it looks aesthetically better to me. Okay, so on the left hand side you do have your volume up and down, as well as a dedicated Google Assistant button, which some people might find useful. And on the front you do have this oval shaped front-facing camera, and the front-facing camera is a 13 megapixel sensor. And now let's talk a little bit about this display. So this display is a 6.8-inch display, and it is 1080p, so it's full HD, which resolution-wise is much better than the Galaxy A21. Screen-wise, it's bigger than the Galaxy A21. However, as far as quality goes, to me, I don't think it's as good as the Galaxy A21. So let's put them side by side and I'll show you what I mean. So the Galaxy A21 to me is just has a better quality as far as color control and things like that. So I found it to be aesthetically more pleasing to me, right? This is kind of subjective. And the Stylo 6 display, I'm not saying that it's bad, it's actually really good. It's just, to me, quality as far as the panel is for the A21. Resolution is for the Stylo 6, so we can call that round even in a way. So now what I want to do is I want to do a boot test to see how fast these phones can boot up and which can boot up faster. So 3, 2, 1, put them side by side, and let's see what happens. Okay, So the Stylo 6 did boot up a second or two faster than the Galaxy A21. As far as your daily tasks go, so things like the phone app, they're really even. So the phone app is the same. The messaging app, it's really slight edge to the Galaxy A21, and Google Chrome, it's to the Stylo 6. So you see where I'm going with this. Specs are about the same. The Stylo 6 does have the upper hand in some cases, which is not really the most scientific way to test these phones, but that's just the results of this test. And so if we also want to talk numbers real quick, so I believe they both use the same processor. They both use the MT6765 Helio P35. I believe that's the full name. Don't quote me though. But I do know for a fact that they both use the same processor. Both have 3 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. So this type of performance is expected, and I do want to call it an even matchup. Okay, so as far as cameras go on both of them, I want to give this a bottom. So the bottom line on the cameras is that they both shoot pretty decent pictures in well-lit conditions. However, to me personally, I want to give the slight edge to the Galaxy A21. I think it does a better job in processing pictures than the Stylo 6, but that's preference to me. Some people might prefer the Stylo 6 over the A21. And you have to also remember that the Stylo 6's biggest feature is its stylus. And so the stylus gives you plenty of options. You can just use it as a way to navigate through your phone. And you have a couple of things like quick memo. You can take notes, magnify your phone, and do other productive things. Now it can technically work for other phones, but the screens are not really calibrated and they're not really made for this stylus. So it's harder to press on them to actually get something going. The point of this video per se is that these both are really nice phones, really comparable as far as specs. Design is a subjective thing. I do prefer the look of the back of the Stylo 6. However, I do prefer the look of the front of the Galaxy A21. So again, it's subjective. It's 50-50 for me. And overall, you cannot really go wrong with either or of these phones, because performance is about the same. The camera, to me, I prefer the A21 personally, so that's my preference. And when I look for a phone, I look for its camera specs and display, which are really the 3 most important things to me personally. And so specs, they're even. Display, they're 50-50, kind of even. The A21 has a lower resolution, but a better quality screen. And the Stylo 6 has a higher resolution, but slightly lower quality screen. And the camera is slightly better on the A21. So I really would not be upset with either choice, you know. And yeah, with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you find this video useful, leave a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.